Dzień dobry. I switched to English as that was agreed that we will have that session in English to make it more communicative also for our ECX colleagues. Welcome everybody to the peering session. We are coming back to the tradition that was somehow lost during last PLNOGs, having some info coming from IXs. This is a slightly different peering session because it's mainly about what has changed during the last 10 years, where are we right now, and where we will be, probably, that's forecasting, during the next years. And the session will consist of 3 presentations from ECX, EPIX, and PLIX, roughly 8 minutes, 10 minutes each, and then some questions and answers if you would be so nice to ask us some questions. So let me welcome first ECX to present the presentation today. Arnold?
Hi, I'm Arnold Nipper. I'm from ECX, and I'm really appreciated to give a presentation. So my title is IXs 2008, 2018, which is today, and 2028. 10 years ago now, and in 10 years. So I took ECX, of course, to highlight. We already had this presentation in the morning where Daniel Spierling told about ECX. I dig a bit in the web archives to see how the ECX webpage looked in 2008. And this was the webpage of ECX in 2008. Looks familiar as of today. So where were ECX 10 years ago? We were really a smallish company. As far as I remember, we were about 10 people or so. We were really, everyone know each other, and which was really more important is everyone knew what the other one is doing. At that time, it's not 100% true, but there was only one exchange point. So ECX is an exchange point operator, and by far, ECX Frankfurt is the biggest one. There was only one exchange point we had to deal with. And technically, we already saw it in the morning, it was very simple. It was really simple layer 2 technology. Roughly, we had 230 customers. I was really astonished to see that 10 years ago, we already had 230 customers. At that time, technology was only 10 gigabit. Of course, we also had gigabit, but 100 gig was not yet around. But people, if they need more, they simply bundled 10 gigabit. And unlike 1 gigabit, where you only could bundle up to 8 ports, with 10 gigabit, it was able to bundle up to 32, 64, or even more. The traffic was amazing, 250 gigabits, and this is really not that much. So only a couple of days ago, we had a new peak, and the new peak to the oldest peak was an increase of 250 gigs. That means what we did 10 years ago, nowadays almost is that what we do from peak to peak. We only had peering services, and the challenge at that time was to deliver stable service to our customers. And what we also started, this was 2 years ago, 2006 already, when we started to have marketing, to have sales. At that time, almost all of the European internet exchanges were community-driven. They say, okay, customers go, but we have no sales. So, and what we did in 2006, we started to have marketing, and first what we did is to go to East Europe because these were most of the networks which want to connect to the West. So how does ECX nowadays or today look like? So we are still not a really big company. We are about 100 plus people. So it's, I would say, a really small mid-size or a mid-size small company, name it as you want. But unlike 10 years ago, meanwhile, we operate 12 IXs in 8 countries on 3 continents. And this is really something which is quite different from 10 years ago. And you have to remember that we only 6 years ago decided to go international. Until then, we were only operating in Frankfurt. At least in some of our locations, in the biggest location, also the technology is more complex than 10 years ago. In Frankfurt and also in New York, the network now is a VPLS, MPLS network. So towards the customer, it's still Ethernet interface. For the customer, nothing has changed so far. But internally, to deal with all the traffic, to be able to use the resiliency and redundancy, we switched to a technology which is well proven, well known, and operators use them then since 10 years and more. We have 800 customers worldwide. I guess it's not true. This should read 800 customers in Frankfurt. But traffic jumped up to, meanwhile, almost 6.5 terabits, 6,400 gigabit in Frankfurt. This is an amazing. It's almost 20 times what we did in 2008. You remember, customers were roughly 230. Customers are now 800. This is 1 to 4, but traffic jumped up a factor 20. This is really amazing, and also caused what we see on the next slide, what are the today challenges. So the prices for transit have dramatically were going down over the last years. I would say the cost for the internet exchanges are mostly in the hardware and personnel. We as a company, we grew. That means our cost in personnel went up. Also, we had to deal with more traffic. You see, we had an increase in customers 1 to 4, but traffic went up 1 to 20. We had to invest in really expensive hardware as well. What we also see is in Frankfurt, when we started 2008, or we already started earlier, but in 2008, there was no competition for us in Frankfurt. Now, when a competitor comes into Frankfurt, the competitor is already benefiting from the existing community over there. For him, it's easy to go in any data center, say, here's my switch, connect to, we only have half the price. And from a customer point of view, I also would connect to another exchange. What do you say? Not to put all eggs in one basket. It's a good idea. And last but not least is, at least at the large exchanges, what we see is that we almost reach a saturation points in number of customers. So these are really the today's challenge of what we have today. And the question I had is to also look 10 years ahead, and this is my answer to this question. To look 10 years ahead, I think it's almost, for me, it's impossible. What I believe in internet exchange points, so what I would say is we will have more internet exchange points, and we probably will not longer call them internet exchange point, but more the I will perhaps switch to interconnection points. All types of interconnection will happen over there. We perhaps will still have players with big LANs where everyone is able to exchange traffic with everyone, but I guess it will going more into the direction to bilateral connections, and not only for service providers, but also for enterprises. We now see with more and more digital economy going into the enterprises, that there is demand for interconnections, and we need interconnection points. But if in 10 years' time we still will see large interconnection or ISPs or IXPs as we see it, Internet Exchange Point as we see it today, I'm not 100% sure. And with that, I finish my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go with the EPICS presentation.
I have my own. Afternoon. I represent EPICS, which is the youngest is in this group. So I appreciate to be in this group because we are new things. So we learn about our elder brothers like DCX. So I feel like Luke Skywalker and I look like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know. First of all, I have to apologize. I'm not engineer, I'm not IT guy, so I don't know about BGP, peering session, some routing policy, and everything which is typing into the console, this magic word. I will talk about EPICS like a rather state of mind, or even state of soul. About past. 2008 was a very interesting year because Big Telecom introduced a triple play model. Everyone talking about it, but small ISP company wouldn't be prepared for it. So we was surprised that big telecoms introduced very quickly this model. We wouldn't be prepared on it. Second thing, what was good for our market, that our Polish regulator open orange infrastructure for us. So we have easy access to pipes, to infrastructure of OPL. It was good. And of course, the most important, it was year when our first PLNOG conference. As you see, that was very important year. And about background, Polish is quite a typical market because, for example, in Germany, you have, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 telecoms company. In Poland, according to Polish regulator, we have 2,000 ISP, so there is huge amount of this company. It's not typical. The problem is that there is very little company, they have not rules, and they compete very well, but they can cooperate. And it was a reason that a big company won with us. And was this year, Wojciech Apel is absent, I'm sorry, because it was initiate that 9 little ISP company start to cooperate. And we established SGT, it was Silesian Telecommunication Company, which introduced ISP for SME ISP, and they can, for this possibility, introduce to triple play model, and they can compare with, compete with Big Telecom. 2008, one more. Do you remember this time? It was crazy time. Love, peace, disco polo. Do you remember? And it was time that we established EPICS. EPICS were needs for SME ISP, of course. And it was in the middle on 2008. It was first switch. To be honest, we borrowed the switch because we have no our own. And it was 1 week that we have no free ports. So we know that the needs is more. And the rules was very easy. And we create, apart from EPICS, we create, of course, MES, as you see. We have to create some more strict rules. Next milestone in our story, it was 2014 when we established the second part of EPIX in Warsaw. And it was time that we have 2,070 operators. It was a huge amount for us. Of course, we create more strict rules, so the mess disappear. Today EPIX is 600 users, and it's amazing for us because it was 10 years. 600 users is very huge amount, and we see. Remember that there is SME company. It's not company like in DCX, I guess, but. I think it's a big achievement, but the biggest for me is that we create trust. That little SME company started cooperate each other. I think, and there is not BGP, not switches, not some technical stuff, but trust that two SME company each other can cooperate. And that is our biggest achievement. And okay. From zero to hero, I can say, but according to Hurricane Electric, we are a peer, we are node on this rank. So there is, I think, 6 positions and 5 positions when you think about ASN. And what about future? As you say, it's very difficult today because this market developed quickly, and today we don't know what's happened. But my vision is that X's will be like supermarket. You know, it will be some platform where we can buy, sell some services, some telco services. Telco services today is like a food. Everyone needs internet. Everyone needs smartphone. So I think that X's could be kind of platform where we can go and we can buy a huge variety of services. About future our X, I think we should look on east. On the west we have D6, so we don't have to look on the west. But I think east is the place where we can help develop this area. The first step was I don't know, maybe 1 week ago, we start our cooperation with Kiev. And thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, that's the one. Okay, so I'll try to be quick. Look on the past, present, and the future from PLIX perspective, now being part of Equinix. So 10 years ago, you can see some strange logos. The one on the left is very rare. I think that lasted only for some short time. 10 years ago, when you look exactly, when PLIX was born, was created by Sylwester Biernacki, and that was also done on a switch which was donated, so it wasn't bought. When it was created, we had an office. I wasn't working yet in PLIX, but we had an office in the building which was opposite on the other side of the street to the LIM building. So if anything happened to the equipment, the guys had to run through the street to the elevators and to go to the top floor of the LIM. And that was very nice place, as you can see. Interesting. First people working there, some of them still with us. Funny fact was that on the flat above this flat, the next floor, there was illegal, let's say, adult entertainment agency. And sometimes the clients, picked the wrong floor, and they knocked on PLIX. And then our colleague, quite a big guy, opened, and he didn't look like the woman they expected. So that was funny stuff. This is 42nd floor. This is one of the first locations. It's not like 2006. In 2006, there was only one switch. That's like 2 years, 3 years later. It's before we did some tidying up and afterwards. But we stayed there for several years in just half-size cabinet under some strange installation. The ones of you who know the 42nd floor, they know how it looks like. 2006, that was the year that we started. This is one of the first graphs. From March, we grew to 4 gigabits per second. This is one of the first ones. In 2008, we joined PLNOG, and this is a screenshot from presentation that Sylvester was doing together with me. I wasn't still at Plix, but we already knew each other. Then this is how the traffic grew. This is last 5 years, and on the left you see this first graph. Only I tried to put it in proportion. It's like 4 gigabits, and then this is how it looked like. We have how it looks now. First of all, we will have another logo because this one is still from Telecity acquisition times. Now Plix is looks more decent in terms of the cabling and the racks. We just picked 1 terabit, which is important to us. I guess when D6 picked 1 terabit, that was a reason for some party. The same with us. So for us, it's like, it's a normal number, but you always think, okay, this looks nice. What has changed is that when Plix started, it was just IX. Not maybe just, it was an important IX, but it was IX. Now this IX is a part of the larger proposal of Equinix, who owns us right now. We are part of Equinix. And during the years, we build out colocation. So IX and colocation, they kind of work together within Equinix and in our story. What we see right now, and this is what Arnold also talked about, is we see the movement to private interconnections. And of course, as a company, I will talk about that in a moment, we try to facilitate that. But on the other hand, we try also to promote IXs. So, 10 years into the future. Yes, of course, it's impossible task. But let's say about the imminent future, what we see right now and how it may unfold. So what Equinix is doing already is installing IXs in almost every location where Equinix is present. So the historically Equinix story, the company has 20 years next year, has started in US to create neutral data center for interconnection. IXs appeared there, then Equinix started its own IXs, and they run till today. Equinix hasn't been very active with IXs in Europe. That has changed last year when we started to deploy a lot of new IXs in Europe, either in the cities where we thought, okay, there is not really there isn't a big IX already running, or in the cities where on metros where the big players are already present, but we want to be the second independent redundant choice for the clients. We'll see whether those clients will also think like that, but we talk to a lot of them. What we also do, and this goes in the broader story of interconnection, so private interconnections, not really being part of internet. What we also do, we also provide second platform, which is called Equinix Cloud Exchange, and this is completely separate private platform on which our customers used to connect to the cloud providers privately, like ExpressRoute, Direct Connect, other ways of connecting. Right now, we changed it significantly. These are only nodes of Equinix Cloud Exchange, not Internet Exchange. We have connected each and every place on the continents, and we will connect continents to each other this year. And right now, every client of Equinix in a given city, let's say Frankfurt, can connect to this network really and order a circuit to any other city, to any cloud provider connecting to us, and as a matter of fact, to any other client not only cloud provider. So we are facilitating also private connections between companies right now. And this is how we see future. That was a important step in Equinix history to create its own network and kind of compete first of all with network providers, because usually you would go to the network provider to buy a circuit, but also to kind of enrich our proposal and our geographical presence of IXs, which is also, well, sometimes well received, sometimes not so well received by the existing IXs. How it will evolve in the future? Well, as I told you, we are observing that a lot of private interconnection is happening. Cross connects, fiber cross connects between the customers, traffic going from the IX to the private exchange. The traffic that we don't have idea about, we don't know what the customers are sending over cross connects, but we did some research on that. You can find that on Equinix web pages. It's called Global Interconnection Index, because we tried to understand what they are doing and how much traffic is flowing there and how it will evolve. And we think it will evolve way faster in the bandwidth than internet during the next several years. And we are preparing for helping those companies to connect privately, either through physical medium or through platform. Those platforms could be IX, we know and love IXs, and I think they will still have their place, or it could be a private kind of exchange. Equinix runs, for example, financial exchanges only for financial companies, or advertisement exchanges. This kind of different parts of the market. I personally still believe that IX will still be a way to reach customers, to deliver content to the customers. What we see, some networks have a restrictive peering policy, and you can only reach them over private interconnection. Paid, not paid, but only this way. They are not reachable on IXs. But IXs are great for providing a diversity of middle-sized, small-sized, sometimes also big players, and have that deal done with being present on IX. The other thing that we see, everybody's talking about Internet of Things and this kind of stuff, is that there is more and more data, which in many occasions would be sent over internet and gathered by companies which analyze the data. IXs will still be a great way, a partial solution to gather the data from a lot of devices that are in use. So that's my view on that. And now I would like to ask you for any questions to any of the presenters. Yeah.
Witam uprzejmie, Konrad Plich, Orange Polska. Tak, w ramach żartu powiem, że również operator X-a, który to X poszerzył się o 2 terabity pojemności CDN-owej rozstawionej do wszystkich miast w Polsce. Mimo to, a może z tego powodu, jak Państwo widzą, nie byłem zaproszony na scenę, ale przez pryzmat tego wydarzenia zadam takie pytanie. Jak przekonasz, Michale, operatorów ze Szczecina, Białegostoku, Rzeszowa czy Wrocławia, że powinni kupić pojemność teletransmisyjną do Warszawy i port X-a w sytuacji, kiedy technologia CDN-owa pozwala, żeby 80% internetu na serwerach zapakować w paczkę i zawieźć do nich, do tego Wrocławia, Białegostoku czy Szczecina. My to zrobiliśmy, X-y twierdzą coś dokładnie przeciwnego. Kupujcie łącza, kupujcie porty, chodźcie do mnie tu, do budynku Limu, chodźcie do mnie tu, do 4DC. My powiedzieliśmy coś innego i chciałbym znać kontrargument, może się mylimy.
Spoko. Jeżeli ktoś ma sieć, powiedziałeś, nie wiem, w Białymstoku, tak? I nie jest podłączony do sieci Orange'a, to jak skorzysta z twojego CDN-a?
Content popyt to jest dokładnie to samo, co lokalny X. Bierze się 2 patchcordy i wtyka się go w gniazdko 10 giga i już. Dokładnie tak samo jak w X-ie, niczym się to nie różni. I 80% internetu.
Czyli rozumiem, że można kupić tę usługę w Orange'u. Niech rozkwita 1000 kwiatów. Klienci zdecydują, co dla nich jest dobre. To będzie zależało od ceny, od pomysłu na swoją politykę interconnection, tak, od rozpływu ruchu. Oczywiście. Jeżeli to jest tak dobra usługa i w dobrej cenie i dobrze obsługująca taki procent ruchu, o którym mówisz, no to moim zdaniem to się jak najbardziej będzie sprawdzało i będzie elementem polityki peeringowej czy tam zakupu ruchu operatora. Nie widzę żadnych przeszkód. Tak jak powiedziałem, serio, niech rozkwita 1000 kwiatów.